Ida for forcing my niece to attend her grandmother's funeral. My niece's 14 grandma passed away earlier this week, and the funeral is scheduled for early next week. My niece was obviously very upset and spent all of this past week with that side of the family sorting through her grandma's belongings and planning the funeral. Earlier this month, we had planned for my niece to go to Florida with her friend and her family since my sister, her mom, is out of the country through the rest of next week, which is when the funeral will now be. All day today my niece was wavering on whether or not to go to the funeral, since she felt like she wasn't wanted there by that side of the family. She doesn't have the best relationship with her half-siblings on that side. That's understandable, and I heard her out while also encouraging her to go since it would bring her closure. Later, I had dropped her off at her friend's place so that they could go to the airport, and my niece tells me once she's at the airport that she changes her mind and doesn't want to go to the funeral and would like to instead stay in Florida with her friend. She told me this was because she is not sure how she will be at the funeral and that she's scared that it will traumatize her. Context: she has been to another grandma's funeral last year. Ida for calling bullshit on this change of heart and for continuing to change her return flight despite her protests. Ida for saying I never asked for the dog to be taken to a shelter. For context, my BF and I are both men. I'm 30, he is 32. I've known him for a year and we have been in a relationship for 4 months. We don't live together. Also, English is my third language, so forgive me if I make mistakes. For the entire time I've known him, my BF had a small rescued dog that was clearly untrained. It was a sweet boy, but he had the bad habit of biting the feet of anyone who entered the house. I asked my BF several times to please either train him not to do that, or take him to another room, because it hurt having my feet bitten. He told me I was overreacting because the dog was small, it shouldn't hurt that much. So yesterday I went to my BF place and the dog was nowhere to be found. I asked him about the dog and he said he took him to a shelter because I'm always complaining about the dog biting my feet. I told him I never asked him to take the dog to a shelter, just to train him, and now I'm worried about the poor dog being in a shelter, not knowing why his dad left him there. And he told me I'm never happy. First I complain about the dog biting my feet, now that he solves that I complain about the dog being on a shelter. I don't think I'm being unreasonable, but I could take a second opinion. Ida for not returning a thrifted pair of shoes. I've been going to thrift shops a lot lately, trying to make up a new fall-winter wardrobe. If you follow fashion trends you'll know that red, specifically red leather, is really big this season. So imagine my surprise when I found a perfect pair of red leather ankle boots in my size at Goodwill. Perfect. I put them in my cart. I was browsing sweaters when an angry-looking woman came up to me. She accused me of stealing the shoes out of her cart while she was shopping. Confused, I showed her where I found them, on the shelf. We figured out that apparently she had put them there when trying them on and then went somewhere else, leaving them in her cart behind. She asked for them back, but I said no, sorry. They weren't in her cart, they were on the shelf. And I feel like that means they were fair game. She was not happy, and raised her voice at me a bit before I walked off and checked out, buying the shoes. In the parking lot she flicked me off. In hindsight, if I were her and I made that mistake, I'd want the shoes back. But the way she came out the gate accusing me of stealing and her overall demeanor didn't exactly make me want to go the extra mile to be kind. In the end, I think I got the shoes fair and square. Ida for telling an acquaintance colleague about my other friend colleague's new job. Throwaway because I don't want to be found. I don't work in a normal job environment. Academia. A cohort member of mine who I have become pretty decent friends with applied for her dream job in a marine-related field with a government organization. She told me she applied early on but told me to keep it a secret as she had not told her advisor she still has another year left in the program and was nervous to tell her she would potentially have to quit, or do the program part-time. Anyways, I kept my mouth shut. Once she got the job, she herself told her advisor. At this point I figured it was no longer a secret, because why would it be? Long story short, at a graduate party, I told another graduate student because I was excited for my friend. She had landed her dream job and would be attending school part-time next year. They both attended a scientific conference this week, and the colleague I told about my friend's new position congratulated her. My friend texted me and was like, "BTWM mad at you," to which I was like, She then said I should have never told the colleague because I knew it was a secret, which I didn't, because she had already told her advisor. I apologized, and told her I had no idea, and she is giving me the silent treatment. Ida for telling my friend he's rude for saying the meal is nothing special after taking him out. Just wondering, since I could be overreacting, I could be in the wrong. We're in Japan and I wanted to take my friend to a ramen place since it's his first time, and he mentioned he wanted to try some ramen from Japan because he loves Korean ramen XD. I noticed a decent place but the queue was 30-45 minutes. Told him it could potentially be worth the wait because it's always very busy, so we decided to queue. Midway in queue he says that it's just going to taste the same as any other ramen, already forming an opinion. opinion. I explained that not all places are the same, some use different broth ingredients etc. He disregarded what I said. Around 40 meters later we go in and get served to us instantly since we ordered in queue. Had our food, I paid, we left. I asked him how was it nice? And he bluntly said was nothing special. I acknowledged it and we went home. Next day I confronted him and said I think the way he behaved last night was rude, being closed-minded, and said the food was nothing special. He said he was being honest. I get the honesty, but I feel it could have been said differently. I wouldn't really do the same if someone took me for dinner, so I don't really see from his perspective. Aita for telling my father I will always choose my cat over my half-brother. I 18 meters used to have a relatively good relationship with my half-brother 19. Despite the fact that my dad cheated on my mom with his mom with the excuse that he thought my mom would never be able to provide a child. I never blamed my half-brother for it and we got along reasonably okay up until I found out he has been sleeping with my then girlfriend 18. Blocked and haven't talked to him for 4 months now. My cat and my half-brother have the same birthday, so over the past several years I would attend my half-brother's birthday party in the morning and throw my cat's birthday party afterwards. Yesterday though, I decided to have an early, extra long party for my cat instead with my mom, aunts and friends. They all adore Claire. I didn't go to my half-brother's birthday, which caused my dad to call and say that I was being a bad brother for not forgiving my half-brother and reconciling. So I told him that my half-brother was the one who betrayed me and that I am not interested in conciliation. He asked me if my cat is more important, so I said yes, and that I would always choose my cat over him. Now I have 3 aunts, all my mom's sisters, all hate dad for cheating on her, but one of them said I was a bit too harsh on him. Was I too harsh to my father? Aita for telling my husband to lay in the bed he made. Me 35F and my husband 40 meters have had a lot of ups and downs these few years. My husband lost his mother to COVID. We had a baby. My husband was laid off. I was able to secure a new job and I am now the beard winner. With everything that has happened, my husband said he wanted to have a less stressful job as a server. He said he would still be able to make enough money to pay for his part of the bills, but he didn't want to go back to a manager job. I said I am adamantly against this, but if it's what you need to get your mind straight then so be it. Now every day he is coming home and complaining about how he is not getting enough tables and how he hates doing all the side work. He will also complain about how the other managers suck and they're not doing their job. He will go on for hours about how everyone is not following safety protocols and not doing the proper cleaning methods. Today I had enough and said, honey, this is what you picked. You wanted to be a server and this is what a server's life is. He came back and said that I was mean and he didn't think the restaurant would be like this. I said, no, you want the restaurant to run the way you think is right and you're mad that they're not because you're not a manager. Then I said, you made your bed, this is what you wanted to do, so this is on you and you need to stop complaining. Now he is giving me the silent treatment. Aita, I go to bed when I'm tired. Me and my husband are in a difficult situation. He is not a native English speaker and I am. But since moving to an English-speaking country together, I felt he has expected me to do a lot of his admin. We have been together the best part of 10 years, are ambitious people and have done some awesome and crazy stuff together. We recently had our first child just under 1 year old and have had several arguments because he is working 40 overtime while starting a physically demanding side project in the gym which he is likely to be successful with. I am currently a Psalm and breastfeed, but have been receiving maternity money which will run out this month. I started a business but haven't had any customers yet. Work will likely pick up in January. I am currently job hunting for an evening shift somewhere local or WFH. Basically we need to pay our bills and my husband is working so much and is unable to get proper rest or spend good time with our baby. So I think I should go to work to give him some time at home. When it's very late at night or early in the morning, when we both are up, if I sleep apparently that makes me an according to my husband. He is burning the candle at both ends but he expects me to too. I understand his perspective, as we have a lot to do and no one else is going to do it. He thinks I am too emotional. So Reddit, Aita, added a word.